From iconic beach entrances to unforgettable performances, these are the beautiful James Bond girls then versus now. And first, she's the one who set the standard for all that followed.
Ursula Andress.
Did you know that Ursula Andress made her big splash in Dr. No at just 26 years old? That unforgettable moment when she emerged from the sea in a white bikini? Instantly iconic. Andress, with just a few European films under her belt, became a global sensation overnight. The original Bond girl, she wasn't just a pretty face. She was the template, the one every Bond girl aspired to be. And now, at 88 years old, Ursula Andress lives a quieter life, away from the limelight. She's traded in film sets for the art studio, focusing on photography and her creative passions. But even though she stepped back from acting, her legacy as the original Bond girl lives on, unmatched. Speaking of redefining what it means to be a Bond girl. Honor Blackman. Yeah, you remember her? She took on the name Pussy Galore in Goldfinger. But here's the thing. Blackman wasn't just another pretty face. She was already a star, known for her role in the Avengers as Kathy Gale. And when she brought that same fierce energy to Goldfinger, she didn't just match Bond. She challenged him. Pussy Galore was a game changer. A strong, sophisticated woman who could fly a plane and go toe-to-toe with Bond. And after Goldfinger, Blackman didn't slow down. She stayed on top with roles across film, TV, and theater. Even in her later years, she was still shining. Sadly, Honor Blackman passed away in 2020 at 94. But her performance of Pussy Galore? It's still legendary. Now let's talk about a Bond girl who made her mark with just one scene. Shirley Eaton. You know the one, the girl covered in gold paint in Goldfinger. Yeah, that scene. It's one of the most iconic moments in movie history. Before she became Jill Masterson, Eaton was a star in British comedies and musicals. But her role in Goldfinger? That's what made her unforgettable. But here's the twist. After a few more films, she did something surprising. She walked away from Hollywood. Yep, in 1969, she chose family over fame, prioritizing her role as a mother over being a movie star. And now, at 87, she lives a peaceful life, far from the glitz and glamour, but still a beloved figure in the Bond universe. A true icon who chose life over limelight. And next, the Bond girl, who was the only one to ever say, "I do" to 007, Diana Rigg. She wasn't just another Bond girl, she was Tracy DiVincenzo, the woman who married James Bond in On Her Majesty's Secret Service. Rigg, already a household name from the Avengers as Emma Peel, brought both strength and vulnerability to the role. And that tragic ending, it changed Bond forever. But Rigg didn't stop there. She went on to have an incredible career from stage to screen. And yes, even as Olenna Tyrell in Game of Thrones, proving once again that she was the queen of iconic roles. Diana Rigg passed away in 2020 at 82. But her legacy? It's untouchable. These Bond girls weren't just side characters. They were trailblazers. They defined what it meant to be a Bond girl and left a mark on cinema that's still felt today. More Bond girls who stole the spotlight. These are the women who left a lasting impression on the James Bond franchise. And first, she was the dazzling diamond smuggler who matched Bond in both wit and charm.
Jill St. John.
Did you know Jill St. John was already a Hollywood veteran before she took on the role of Tiffany Case in Diamonds Are Forever? Yeah, she wasn't just any Bond girl. She was sharp, sophisticated, and seriously sassy. St. John's performance brought a playful yet dangerous vibe to the film. Tiffany wasn't just another love interest. She was Bond's partner in crime. And after Diamonds Are Forever, Jill St. John didn't slow down. She stayed active in film and TV for years, and even found a second passion, cooking. Yep, in the 80s, she switched gears, diving into the culinary world. And if you're wondering what she's up to now, she's in her 80s, living a more private life. But you can still catch her at the occasional event, often alongside her husband, Robert Wagner. Now, let's move on to the Bond girl who brought a touch of magic to the franchise, Jane Seymour. Remember her as Solitaire in Live and Let Die? She was just 22 when she played the mystical tarot reader, and that role, it launched her into stardom. Seymour's performance was mesmerizing. Strange, beautiful, and full of grace, she wasn't just another Bond girl. She was something otherworldly. And after Live and Let Die, Jane Seymour's career took off. From movies to TV, she became a household name. Ever heard of Dr. Quinn? Medicine Woman? That's her. She owned the 90s with that role. And even now, at 72, she's still a force in the industry. Appearing in shows like The Kaminsky Method and Be Positive. Oh, and did I mention she posed for Playboy at 67? Yeah, she still got it. Now, let's not forget the Bond girl who brought some serious Swedish charm to the franchise, Britt Ekland. She played Mary Goodnight in The Man with the Golden Gun. And while she wasn't the most formidable Bond girl, she was definitely one of the most fun. Ekland's character added a lighthearted touch to the film, a bit of humor to balance out the danger. And after her Bond days, Britt Ekland kept the cameras rolling, but eventually she found a new niche. Reality TV. Yep, she starred in Swedish Hollywood Wives and even competed on I'm a Celebrity. Get me out of here. Now, in her 80s, she's still active in entertainment, mostly on Swedish television these days, but she's forever remembered as the bubbly Bond girl who stole hearts with her charm. And now, here's the Bond girl who took on 007 with both elegance and espionage, Barbara Bach. You know her as Anya Amazova in The Spy Who Loved Me. She wasn't just another pretty face, she was Bond's equal, a sophisticated Soviet agent who matched Bond move for move. Bach's performance was strong, stylish, and seriously cool. She redefined what it meant to be a Bond girl, bringing intelligence and independence to the role. But after The Spy Who Loved Me, Barbara Bach stepped back from the spotlight. She married Ringo Starr in 1981 and shifted her focus to philanthropy. Now in her 70s, she's all about giving back, preferring to stay out of the public eye. But her role as Anya Amasova still celebrated as one of the most dynamic in the Bond franchise. And next we have the Bond girl who wasn't just brains, but also serious brawn. Lois Chiles. She played Holly Goodhead in Moonraker, a CIA agent and scientist who teamed up with Bond to save the world. Chiles brought a whole new level of professionalism to the Bond girl role. She was more than just a love interest. She was Bond's equal, with the smarts and skills to prove it. And after Moonraker, Lois Chiles kept acting with roles in Dallas and CSI, crime scene investigation, but by the 2000s, she decided to step away from the industry. Now in her 70s, she's enjoying a quieter life, far from Hollywood. But her performance of Holly Goodhead, it marked a significant shift in how women were depicted in the Bond series. Smart, capable, and independent. These Bond girls didn't just support 007, they challenged him, matched him, and sometimes even stole the show. More legendary Bond girls who made history. These are the women who brought their own brand of strength and style to the James Bond franchise. And first up, she was the one who turned revenge into a mission.
Carol Bouquet.
Did you know Carol Bouquet wasn't just another Bond girl? In For Your Eyes Only, she played Melina Havelock, a woman on a quest to avenge her parents' elimination. She wasn't there to be saved. She was there to settle a score. Bouquet's Melina was strong, determined, and fully capable of handling herself in the dangerous world of espionage. At the time, Carol Bouquet was already making waves in European cinema, thanks to films like That Obscure Object of Desire. But it was her role in For Your Eyes Only that really put her on the map internationally. And now, Carol Bouquet is still shining. She's had a successful career in French cinema, taking on diverse and challenging roles. Now in her 60s, she's a regular at film festivals and events, still exuding the same elegance and strength that made her an unforgettable Bond girl. Her legacy, one of pure class and determination, the kind that doesn't fade. But if you thought that was impressive, wait until you hear about the Bond girl who made history by appearing twice in the franchise. The one who was Bond's match, not just once, but twice. Maud Adams. She first showed up as Andrea Anders in The Man with the Golden Gun, and then made history as the title character in Octopussy. That's right. She's the only Bond girl to headline her own movie. Adams wasn't just eye candy. She played complex, independent women who could go toe-to-toe with Bond. especially as Octopussy, a strange and powerful jewel smuggler who controlled her own destiny. At the time, Maud Adams was already an established actress in Europe, but it was her roles in these Bond films that made her an international star. And today, Maud Adams might have stepped back from acting, but she's still a beloved figure in the Bond community. Now, in her 70s, she regularly attends fan conventions and special events where she's celebrated for her sophistication, strength, and timeless beauty. Her legacy as a Bond girl? It's one of pure sophistication and power. And speaking of power, here's the Bond girl who brought a whole new level of fierce to the franchise, Grace Jones. Without mentioning her, she played Mayday in A View to a Kill. And let's be real, she wasn't just another Bond girl. She was a force of nature. With her bold style, commanding presence, and intense physicality, Jones's Mayday was a true adversary for Bond. At the time, Grace Jones was already a big deal. She was a singer, model, and actress, known for her androgynous looks and avant-garde fashion. But her role in A View to a Kill? It took her to another level. And now, Grace Jones is still as iconic as ever. She's in her 70s but hasn't slowed down one bit. Still performing at major music festivals, still pushing boundaries with her bold style. Her influence on pop culture, undeniable. Her performance of Mayday remains one of the most unforgettable in the Bond series, proving that being a Bond girl is about more than just beauty. It's about bringing something truly unique to the table. These women didn't just play Bond girls. They redefined what it means to be one, bringing strength, style, and unforgettable performances that have left a lasting impact on the franchise and beyond. And the iconic Bond girls keep coming. These are the women who brought their own flair to the Bond universe. And now up, she was the classic beauty who played the damsel in distress with a twist.
Tanya Roberts.
Did you know Tanya Roberts was already a star before she joined the Bond family? She was one of the angels on Charlie's Angels. But in A View to a Kill, she stepped into the role of Stacy Sutton, the glamorous geologist caught up in Bond's latest mission. Sure, Stacy was the damsel in distress type, but Roberts gave her a spark of independence, making her more than just someone for Bond to rescue. She wasn't just there to look good. She brought some smarts to the table too. Stacy Sutton was no ordinary Bond girl. She was a symbol of the glamorous 80s, all big hair and elegant gowns, adding a touch of old Hollywood to the film. But even with all that glamour, Stacy wasn't just a passive character. She was determined to fight back against the villainous Max Zorin, played by Christopher Walken. And after her time with 007, Tanya Roberts kept the momentum going. She didn't disappear from the screen. In fact, she found a whole new audience on that 70s show as the fun and slightly clueless Midge Pinciotti. For years, she brought laughs and charm to that beloved sitcom, making Midge a fan favorite, just like Stacy was for Bond fans. Her acting career slowed down in the 2000s, and she eventually stepped back from Hollywood, living a quieter life in her later years. But her legacy? It's still strong. Sadly, Tanya Roberts passed away in 2021 at the age of 65. But whether you remember her from Charlie's Angels, that 70s show, or A View to a Kill, there's no doubt Tanya Roberts left her mark on Hollywood and on the hearts of fans. Her time as Stacy Sutton remains a highlight of her career, a role that perfectly captured her beauty, charm, and strength. But if you thought she brought charm to the Bond world, wait until you hear about the Bond girl who played her part with grace and vulnerability. The one who showed us a softer side of espionage, Mariam Dabo. In The Living Daylights, she wasn't just another Bond girl. She was Kara Malovi, a cellist drawn into a deadly game of espionage. Kara wasn't about glamour or seduction. She was about heart. Her relationship with Bond had an emotional depth, a genuine connection that stood out from the usual Bond girl dynamics. Unlike many of Bond's flings, Kara wasn't just there for the thrill. She was there because she cared. Kara's vulnerability made her relatable, and Dabo's performance brought a sense of authenticity that made her character memorable. She wasn't a secret agent or a femme fatale. She was an ordinary woman caught in extraordinary circumstances, and that made her special. But what happened after her Bond adventure? Mariam DeBeau didn't just step away. She embraced her Bond legacy, co-authoring a book about the history of Bond girls, reflecting on what it meant to be a part of that iconic world. These women didn't just play Bond girls. They brought something new, something unforgettable to the screen. And their contributions to the Bond legacy? They're timeless. From the most desired start in Hollywood to stars that couldn't keep up with the passing of time. These were beautiful James Bond girls, then VS Now.